And we are recording.
All right, terrific. Let's get started. This is the Suamico Village Board meeting for Monday, October 6th, 2025. The time is officially 6 p.m., and at this time, I would like to call this meeting to order. Just a reminder to anyone coming forward, please speak directly into the microphone, provide your name and address for the public record, if you would. So at this time, looking at the agenda, I would look for a motion to approve the evening's agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Trustee Eckert has offered a motion to approve the evening's agenda. Is there a second?
Second. Okay.
I had a second from Trustee Neto. All right, we have a motion to approve the evening's agenda and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed. That motion carries 7-0. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Starting off our meeting this evening, we have a presentation, Resolution 25022, the retirement of Robert Euclid from the Suamico Fire Department. Chief Bertler, if you would.
Yes, thank you. So before you tonight is a resolution honoring Robert Euclid for his 30 years of service with the Suamico Fire Department. We did a little ceremony for Robert about a month or so ago on his official retirement day, but I thought it'd be appropriate for the village board to recognize him as well as for his 30 years of service. So before you is just a resolution honoring Robert Euclid.
Okay, very well. Before us, we have Resolution 25022, a resolution recognizing and honoring the retirement of Robert Euclid for 30 years of dedicated service to the Suamico Fire Department. So at this time, I will read this resolution for the board to offer a motion. The Board of Trustees of the Village of Suamico do resolve as follows. Whereas Robert Euclid faithfully began his service with the Suamico Fire Department on July 1st, 1995, and whereas during the 30 years of service, Robert demonstrated outstanding dedication, professionalism, and commitment to protecting the lives and property of residents of Suamico, and whereas Robert has served with distinction in numerous emergency responses, training exercises, and community events, providing leadership, knowledge, and mentorship to fellow firefighters, and whereas his unwavering commitment to excellence and public safety has earned him the respect and admiration of his peers, village officials, and the community he has so diligently served. And whereas Robert has chosen to retire from active service effective August 30th, 2025, leaving behind a legacy of courage, honor, and selfless service. And whereas the village of Suamico, its fire department, and the community extend their deepest gratitude and best wishes to Robert as he begins this new chapter in life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Village of Suamico, on behalf of its citizens, formally recognizes and honors Robert Euclid for his 30 years of dedicated service to the Suamico Fire Department and expresses sincere appreciation for his contributions to the safety and well-being of the community. Be it therefore resolved that this resolution be entered into the official record of the Village of Suamico and that a copy be presented to Robert Euclid with gratitude and best wishes for a fulfilling and well-deserved retirement. Adopted by motion, I will look for a motion to adopt this on this day of October 6th, 2025. Is there a motion from the Village Board to adopt this motion or adopt this resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25022, the retirement of Robert Euclid from the Suamico Fire Department.
Thank you. Trustee Andrews has offered a motion to adopt the Resolution 25022, resolution recognizing and honoring the retirement of Robert Euclid after 30 years of dedicated service. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Eckert. Any further comments or discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? This motion carries. Thank you very much. How did you put up with Bertler for 30 years?
Only the last 10.
You gotta do a picture now.
Yeah, sure.
want to
Well, you want the
picture.
logo, you don't want us.
All right, thanks. Congratulations.
Congratulations and thank
Yes,
you again.
congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe's $1 million smile.
Thank you.
It's a long career.
That's probably more than that.
I forgot to mention as well that
He doesn't look old enough.
Robert's grandpa, his dad, and obviously Robert himself, but his daughter is on the fire department now. So 4 generations of firefighters with the Euclid family. So
Amazing.
That's a long time to be using the same locker.
thanks again, Robert.
Take care,
Congratulations.
thank you. All right then.
Very nice.
Let's move on. Item number 6 this evening, public appearances. So public appearances is the point in our meeting which is offered to those in the audience to come forward. You may address the board on any item not on the agenda. At this time, if there is an item that you wish to address the board is here to listen. The board is here potentially to refer back to staff on an item or offer a motion to refer back to staff. But any new items coming forward not on the agenda are not open for discussion or action this evening. They would have to be deferred to a future meeting. Is there anyone who wishes to come forward to speak to an item not on the not on the agenda this evening? Anyone? Okay. Then we will move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda this evening consists of previous minutes of the village board meeting dated September 15th, 2025, the August 2025 fire report, the municipal report, Class B beer and Class B liquor licenses amendment for Chives, 1749 Riverside Drive, Suamico, for Logan Higgins agent to include a special event, Beer Belly 5K Vickery Village Fall Fest on October 25th, 2025, and item D, Sheedy Farms 4th Edition Development Agreement. Is there discussion or questions on the consent agenda? If there-
Motion to approve if no questions.
Very good. Trustee Eckert has offered a motion to approve the evening's consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Andrews. It's a very busy side of the room over there tonight. All right, very good. We have a motion to approve the evening's consent agenda, and that has been seconded. That motion made by Trustee Eckert, it's seconded by Trustee Andrews. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? That motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item number 8 this evening, administration items. Item 8A, grant awards. We have discussion on the FEMA assistance to firefighters, Wisconsin DNR Forest Fire Protection, and Knowles Nelson Federal Land and Water Conservation Grant. And we'll start off with Chief Bertler.
Alrighty. So just want to point out, we have not received a grant like this. I've been on the fire department 18 years. This is the first, well, we did receive one that was a joint one with Howard and Pulaski, but Suamico itself has not received a grant like this since, and like I said, 18 years that I've been on, so kudos to Ben. So this grant, part of the strategic plan kind of that we put forward a few years ago for the fire department was to, in order to provide support for our EMS, was to go out and receive grants to offset any costs. And this is one of those grants, which we applied for a little bit more, only received the training part of it. Eventually, the plan is to, up our training levels to provide more firefighters with EMS training. So this grant allows that. Obviously, there's some reporting back to it's a federal grant, but I think Ben and I have worked with the state on that, on different grants itself as far as reporting. Nothing that we feel would be out of the ordinary, and just want to applaud Ben in his efforts in getting this grant. So, but like I said, I'll say strings attached, or we've done this reporting before. No really secrets to anything, but just before you use a resolution accepting and approving that.
Do you have the equipment already?
So this is just for training itself.
Is it equipment we have to buy?
No, there's no equipment with this. The grant we received is only for training. So if you want to be a first EMT paramedic, this grant will provide the funds to provide that training. So there's no equipment with this
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
Yep.
Now,
It's just for training.
we contract with County Rescue
Correct.
for EMT.
Yep.
Do they get to use it?
to use, they do not get to use these funds, no.
Okay,
It is strictly for Suamico
okay.
Fire Department. So like I said, part of that strategic plan that we put forward in that, we did a few years for the fire department was to, any EMS stuff we wanted to provide, or get would be through costs, through grants, I guess, just support the grants to support that funding, so.
And for those of you that don't know my history, I questioned that we were doubling on services. But,
Yeah, and so, and just for all respect, you're correct, I don't want to do that either, right? I mean, I'm a taxpayer. But what you don't realize is, and no offense to County Rescue, but that ambulance stays in Suamico, but it also serves communities of Abrams and Little Suamico and Chase. That ambulance is not always in Suamico, so you get another call, having that as service available during the day, our first responders, that engine provides faster, life-saving service to those citizens of Suamico.
But this FEMA grant provides nothing in terms of funding for equipment or anything else. As it
Correct.
states here within the packet, it states firefighter training only, confined to general compliance, confined to civil rights and accessibility, confined to financial integrity, privacy information, and other key points. Correct?
Correct, yep,
So no purchase of equipment, no financing, county rescue, no nothing.
correct.
Okay.
It just provides support for more training.
Yep. And did you put this together, or was this provided by FEMA? 'Cause this
That
is
was, I
pretty
think
clear.
Ben created
Oh,
something.
Ben,
in
thanks,
all-
yeah. I mean, this is great. Our obligations are simple: follow federal reporting rules, document expenses, comply with federal rights and privacy laws, and acknowledge federal funding. Staff will manage all compliance requirements. Well done. Makes sense to me. Anyone else?
Do we currently have any funds or whatever that we have to follow federal reporting rules on?
We just did a grant that, with the state of Wisconsin for the radios. I don't know if we received that money yet, but Katie's been included on those emails, and I would say was more reporting than this is going to be, so. Was it? Okay. I know the state of Wisconsin one was quite lengthy as well, so we're used to kind of that reporting. That's kind
I
of
was
what
just
Ben,
curious.
I want to say Ben's forte is, when I say about having him, I'll say not on staff, but contracted is, I can push the ladder off on him, and he does a great job in it, so. Whether he likes it or not, so.
Yep. So at the end of the day, we have the qualifications in the village to do federal aid. And it's not going to kill you with time. You're not going to spend 1,000 hours. Not that I would think the federal government would consume time like that.
Never,
We're talking a small amount of time, I assume.
yeah. And Ben has done a
Katie.
great job with that as well, so, and Katie.
Yeah, so really with the costs, it'll be recording it as we expend it, and just earmarking that it's for this training, which then makes the reporting that much easier when it needs to happen.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Do we know how much training is going, that we would be able to get with this money?
Yeah, so the grant was to train 13 firefighters to be emergency medical technicians, so bring basically the newer firefighters up to an EMT level, so, or existing ones. So there's different levels of first responders for EMS. The basic one is it's called first responder, EMR. Second level would be an EMT, and then the third level would be a paramedic. So we're not looking to do paramedic, that's what County Rescue does. We want to provide that first responder level service to our citizens,
So that's for all 13?
so it'd be for 13 additional than we have. So we have a lot of new firefighters that we've hired on, this will provide that training for them, so they don't have to use costs or anything out of our budget, current budget, so.
Excellent.
This is your chance. I know trustee Eckert looked like she had another question on the tip of her tongue.
I don't, I forgot it.
Uh-oh.
Okay. If there are no more questions and no additional discussion, then I would look for a motion.
Well, since we're on this side of the agenda, I'll make the motion to approve resolution number 25021, accepting the fiscal year 2024 Assistance to Firefighters Grant Award, EMW-2024-FG-01119, and authorizing the required cost share contributions.
All right, so we have a motion from trustee Romas to approve resolution 25021 with all the detail that's presented. Is there a second?
We'll second.
But we have a second from trustee Stevens. He was a little quicker this time.
Can I ask a question?
Uh,
I thought of it.
Yep.
Please.
How many more years are left with the county rescue contract?
Through 2035.
2035? Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 25021. That motion has been made by trustee Romas, seconded by trustee Stevens. No further questions or discussion. Could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Andrews.
Aye.
Trustee Eckert.
Aye.
Trustee McKeefery.
Aye.
Trustee Neto.
Aye.
Trustee Romas.
Aye.
Trustee Stevens.
Aye.
President Van Rossum.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously 7-0.
Terrific. All right, we'll go on to item number 8A2, I guess. Wisconsin DNR Forest Fire Protection, Resolution 25020, and we are back to Chief Bertler.
All righty, so once again, before you is Resolution 25020, another one grant that Ben helped write as well. This is one that we apply for every year. It's through the Wisconsin DNR Forest Fire Protection Grant. This is to upgrade our protective equipment, our PPE that we wear. So did receive a grant to the amount of $9,931.02. We said this is something that we, I don't want to say pretty much get every year, but we've had success in the last few years, so nothing really, not really strings attached. The only thing that they do is check to make sure that we actually purchase they come out in springtime, make sure that we actually purchase equipment for what we said we were going to purchase it for. Someone from DNR comes out, just checks it, makes sure we got it, and that's what the only really reporting that we do besides submitting the paperwork back to the state for reimbursement, so.
Are there questions for the chief on this item?
What about the communication equipment? Is it-
As it states, it was
Was-
only partially funded.
Yeah. I don't know where that was, but I read it earlier.
It's at the bottom.
Okay.
Was it? Oh, so that's, yeah, so their email, I got the official award packet today in the mail, so we weren't able to include in the packets, but that's just the email saying that, so that we didn't apply for any of that stuff. That is kind of their email of what was not included, depending on the grant. I'm sure it's a blank, generic email that they sent out to all the award winners. We did not apply for any communication equipment. Ours was strictly PPE, so personal protective equipment, so
Okay.
clothing, more or less. So yeah, we didn't apply for radio communication.
Okay.
at all. I'm sure it's like I said, just a blanket email that they kind of sent out to all the award winners, so.
All right. Anyone else with a question?
Hearing none, I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 25020, which is a resolution accepting Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Fire or Forest Fire Protection Grant Program monies.
Trustee Romas has offered a motion to approve the evening's Resolution 25020 this evening for the Natural Resources Fire Protection Grant monies. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from trustee Andrews. Any other further questions or discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Trustee McKeefery.
Aye.
Trustee Neto.
Aye.
Trustee Romas.
Aye.
Trustee Stevens.
Aye.
Trustee Andrews.
Aye.
Trustee Eckert.
Aye.
President Van Rossum.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously 7-0.
All right. Item 8A3, the Knowles Nelson Federal Land and Water Conservation Fund for Calavera Park. Director Lemke,
Thank you.
thank you.
Village's grant application for the Calavera Park Master Plan Phase 1A, which includes 7 soccer fields to be constructed on the north side of the park, has been tentatively selected to receive a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant in the amount of $201,523 as a 50% match of the total project. There is a Phase 1 archaeological resource study that will be required. We're currently in the process of gathering quotes for the study to be completed this fall. Initial estimates appear to be around 5,000, and final quotes will be brought to the board for possible approval at the October 20th meeting. Timeline for the overall project is receiving the signed grant agreement, which is required to initiate the start of the project between May and October of '26, with bidding the project to follow and work started in the spring of '27. And grant writer Ben Rogers is here to provide any details of the grant process, if you guys have any questions.
Would you like to just, is there an overview that you'd like to offer on this? I know this is something that we've tried for a number of times, and you're well experienced at applying for this, and congratulations on finally getting a win with this one.
Thank you. I'll kind of spell it out for you because it's kind of a convoluted process here, the whole tentative selection. So what happens is, this is land water conservation funding, or LawCon, we'll call it that. And LawCon is one source of funds that goes through the Knowles-Nelson process. It's kind of like a clearinghouse, houses 3 or 4 different groups of funds for different programs. So we're tentatively selected. So NPS, the National Park Service, said, DNR, you're gonna get this bucket of funding. Now the DNR has to go back to the National Park Service with another application that says, here's the projects we're going to spend the funding on, of which we are tentatively selected. And the main condition on that is completing an archaeological study. I feel like I may have missed the ball a little bit on that, but those archaeological survey sites are not public information. There's no way of determining that we were bordering a site for this project site. They did make that public information. You probably get a lot of backyard archaeologists digging around in fields they don't know. So we really had no idea that we would have to incur this cost before the project period started without a chance at reimbursement until after we were notified of the tentative selection. So if I'm hearing you correctly, the village would have to invest the $5,000 for the archaeological study. And we could potentially not go forward with the 201,523. That 5,000, let me rephrase. The 5,000 doesn't come out of the 201,523, is that correct? That's 50% of the project cost, is that $201,000. Yeah, so our real gamble here is a $5,000 wager to potentially get $201,000 in matching funds, if I'm understanding. I can't say with 100% certainty. I know if you read that letter in the packet here, you know, there were more than 110 applications for $20 million, and we were one of the top scoring ones, the top scoring one in this region. Okay. So when that money becomes available, we will get it, but we do have to complete that study because that's required in the Park Service application.
I would concur with your analogy, Trustee Romas.
And where would that 5,000 come from then?
We would use park impact fees.
Thank you.
For me, it's a worthwhile gamble to take. Can I ask one question of Director Lincoln? So is this this Phase 1A, just to make sure I'm clear, is this the one that came back significantly over budget maybe a year ago, and then we turned it down because of that?
It wasn't, it was.
In my opinion.
Our in-house estimate was significantly
Okay.
under.
And then you were
Yeah.
challenged, you know, to find a way, and it looks like you found a way.
Yeah, yeah.
So I applaud both of you for that. Thank you. And I'm willing to absolutely gamble $5,000 for 201. And I'll rest my.
It's an investment. You're making a good investment, potentially.
Why
Other
do
questions?
why do we need that many soccer fields?
We,
Well, remember, this is the broader.
Seriously?
We're not adding any additional soccer fields. This is-
Oh, you're moving it?
We're moving them, yes. We're moving from the
Okay,
south side of the
but-
park because it's the broader picture of the master plan. So in order to move, we have to move the soccer fields, and then the next phase of the master plan would be to get the 2 additional ball diamonds. There's a parking lot expansion on the south side as well in that master plan. Lights eventually on those 2 diamonds. So this is just the initial phase of that plan that the Park and Rec Committee's been working on since 2018.
I mean, still, why do we need that many? But to move them, it just seems ridiculous to me. But the pros of it are you're putting it into the community park and they're low maintenance going forward. That's good. But I just can't believe this is necessary.
If I could chime in, the reason this project qualified for Knowles Nelson funding in the first place is because those fields existing in that part of the park are routinely flooded in spring and late fall, so it limits the playing time on those fields. So it was an access issue for people wanting to use those facilities in a public park. Because we relocated the fields to higher ground, improving access for year-round use, especially during wet times of the year. That's what makes the project eligible for the federal funding.
And these fields will be excavated, obviously, to nice level playing fields. Right now, they just play on simply the elevation that's there. It was an old farm field, so it's bumpy and down and up and down. So obviously, these will be nice level playing soccer fields for them. So it definitely will be an improvement of, fields as well going forward for the club.
I mean, we really do need that much? It's that big of a deal?
It's what we have already currently.
That doesn't mean we need it.
And they're
but-
full. I mean, the soccer fields are full.
And then the baseball diamonds will go there, but built up.
So, for those who haven't been here for the master plan, my understanding that this has been part of a comprehensive plan for the park district, correct? And so this is the building blocks to get to the plan that everybody's approved. Is that my understanding?
Yes.
I didn't approve of it.
Okay, so, but there was a vote at some point in
Yeah.
time that said.
I
this
had
is-
an issue with it last time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's a plan that says, that's been voted on, that we agree that that's what the master plan looks like.
For that park, yeah. for
And
the
so
building.
you're saying phase one of this is I need to invest $205,000 of village money to get us to phase one. How many more phases do you think there are to get to that, what you just talked about, moving a couple soccer fields, we've got lighted diamonds? Is this a 10-year plan, or is this something shorter than that?
I think there's 5 phases.
5 phases?
This grant money, we have been after for a number of years. This grant money will allow us to complete phase one, which is the move of the soccer fields, and I believe the addition of the baseball fields, correct?
Yeah, so you can see,
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
so the diamonds, we're showing where the diamonds would be, that's currently the soccer fields. And then, like I said, we're simply moving the soccer fields. So that's what we call phase 1A, that's 7 of the 11 soccer fields that will fit into that area of the park. And then the 2 additional DePaul diamonds will be on the south side, and then the parking lot expansion. And then obviously our youth sports, our youth baseball and softball association, they would love to have a diamonds with lights. We don't have many of those between Howard and Suamico. So that would be also a piece of it as well.
And Trustee Stevens, I mean, the real answer to what's the plan, how many years this is going to take, it comes down to funding sources and how aggressive the village board wants to be with it. I mean, in theory, the board could borrow money to pay for this project and do it all in 1 year. It's unlikely, but that is an option. So it's hard to say, well, we think it's going to take 7 to 10 years to complete.
And the user groups, the soccer groups is the smaller group. So obviously no guarantees, but obviously once we complete that part of it, I think the diamonds will come a little bit quicker. It's a larger user group,
How much do we have in impact fees?
119,
And you had donations?
56,000.
Okay.
So we've got $119,000 in impact fees, another $56,000 in additional fees that we have within the, already there. So we're talking about, I mean, we've almost got our 50% already.
Yeah, we have 55,000 of stadium earmarked for the project. We're like 279,000 that we would have available funding sources.
In addition to the 201 from the,
Right.
so we have more than 50% of the
Right.
project fee.
So there's, obviously when we bid it, we'll bid those 7 and also bid the 11. So there might be an opportunity to get the whole project complete. That's all going to depend on how the bids come in.
Right, right. And we all know how that goes. That can vary. So I guess, what we're faced with when we look at this, we've got an opportunity where we've been trying for this grant for a number of years. Now we have the grant. This was the impediment, was not having this grant money 2 years ago when we looked at this. But we've also been diligent, and credit to Director Lemke and credit to Mr. Rogers for his work on the grant. We've built up those funds. So now we're in a position where when we have a grant of $201,000 and $279,000 of funding earmarked for parks, if I'm a constituent of this village and this board, whatever, would make the decision not to move forward with this, somebody'd have to explain to me why.
Yeah, that drawing that was shown up there just a minute ago, I mean, that's the plan that we've had in place for at least 8 years. It was before we did the parking lot expansion. And then finally, we did the parking lot expansion, which helped out a lot for, when there's soccer and baseball and softball all going on at the same time. That has helped that out immensely. And, yeah, and thanks to Ben, because we've been working at this a long time.
Yeah, I got one more question for Director Lemke. So after our Idlewild Park, our baseball diamonds in Idlewild Park, we just stuck a bunch of money into those, right? Was that 2 years ago? No, didn't we do some work on those?
That's probably more like 5, 6 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
And have we seen a significant increase in the usage of those diamonds? I think we had some tournaments there.
Yeah, I mean, they're,
I would say also we have more use on the hardball field now out there too, that we redid the fence. For years it didn't get used at all because the fencing was inadequate and there was big gaps under it, it was crooked.
Yep.
Since we did that, there's a league that uses it now, I think weekly. So I think there's been an increase in usage with that updated fencing that we put, all new backstops and fencing and dugouts and stuff like that.
So you could say, build it and they will come,
Yep, I would say so.
right?
Actually, I think right when you came on board is when you really started fixing the fencing. And Idlewild does look good.
yeah, and last year we put the outfield fence in on Diamonds 1 and 2. Hissipate is a contribute to that, so
Field James.
All right.
that was good.
All right, there's no formal action on this. Are there any additional questions before we move on?
I just have one question quickly. Do you have any background on what is involved with this archaeological and cultural resources study? Do you know anything about what that involves?
How technical do you want me to get?
Not too technical. Give me 50,000 feet level.
Shovel test.
Wisconsin Historical Society has a list of approved archaeologists that specialize in this type of site. The site has a designation. They wouldn't tell me what it means, just that it's a designated prehistoric site. So what they're going to do is someone's going to come out here and put a shovel in the ground every 16 times for every acre.
Okay. Just
And
to
they're
see.
going to look for artifacts that would then impact how we would move forward on the project.
Do we get a copy of this study? Are we going to be able to see what they find? Or-
Yeah, a study will be submitted to the State Historical Society, and the village will have a copy as well.
Perfect, thank you. And then one more question. I apologize.
No.
Weren't we in a position where we were not competitive against, and forgive me, I'm not up on the sports, but that we were not competitive with the leagues either for soccer or for another sport because Calvary Springs was subpar, so to speak? I tried to look for my notes, but I don't have them with me.
You may be referring to like when they have the tournaments like in Howard, they don't use Calavera because, yeah, our fields are not up to adequate, they're not up to par currently.
So completing this project, whenever
They
it does,
definitely would use Calavera, yeah.
would put us in the running, so,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That was all I had.
I just have one last item. So when this survey happens and the results come back to the October, when you get the quotes, right, for the October 20th meeting, can you also give us what the consequences might be if they did find a prehistoric site in that area? In other words, if they found a site, would the park then be shut down potentially or not? Yeah, I'm kind of curious just what the other side of that risk factor might be.
I don't have that information as to what would
Just for the
happen.
October 20th meeting.
What would happen if they found that. I know that the project site right now is basically an overgrown former farm field, so no one really uses it. You could snowshoe out there if you wanted, or cross-country ski if you're brave enough to, but it's just unused land, former
Oh,
field. So
okay.
it wouldn't shut down the entire park because it's not developed.
But confirm it. You know, you said you don't know for sure, but I would like that confirmed.
I can get that information
Okay,
for you and bring it to the next board
That'd
meeting.
be good.
Well, it's grass-cut trails, and it's nice. It's very nice in its own right. And why can't we continue using Howard?
Well, we don't use Howard
Okay.
currently.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay?
And then just real quick, we reached out to about 3 archaeologists, and like 2 of them are interested right now. So like I said, we're trying to compile that, so we'll bring that to you on the 20th.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thanks, Ben.
Good work. This was a lot of effort put into winning this. Okay. Item number 9 this evening, Public Works items. Item 9A this evening is Resolution 25019, terminates and releases the Village of Suamico's rights, title, and interest in a certain drainage easement within lots 35 and 43 of Sheedy Farms, 3rd Edition. Director Smith.
All right, thank you. As development continues within Sheedy Farms, a drainage easement on the Sheedy Farms 3rd Edition plat was dedicated to the village as part of the stormwater management plan. The developer has requested we release this easement because of the changes that they have made with the 4th edition, and that will impact the 3rd edition's lot that will be modified. After discussion with staff, we find no reason to reject the request. The resolution has been drafted for your consideration to release the drainage easement. Attached for your review were the 3rd edition plat and the 4th edition plat, and you can kind of see how the lot will be modified at the end of Evelyn Rose. The easement description exhibit and resolution are also included in your packet.
Can you briefly explain why you wanted it before and now you don't need it?
So before we needed it because it was part of the stormwater management plan for the grass swale that was along the north side of both lot 35 and 41 or whatever it is. But now they're actually removing that lot and they're swinging the road through there. So it changes that lot now as a full lot without that strip, that filter strip being needed on that lot. So everything will be shifted. It's just not needed anymore. And we don't want an easement on a lot that's really not in our interest. We don't want to maintain something that's not needed. So it was needed to meet the stormwater requirements with just Sheedy Farms 3rd edition on its own. But now that 4th edition is going through, some of that water will be conveyed and treated in that 4th edition.
Thank you.
Other questions for Director Smits?
Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 25019.
Trustee Romas has offered a motion to approve Resolution 25019, which is the 3rd and 4th edition plats, easement description exhibit, and resolution for the releasing the utility easement for the Sheedy Farms. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Neto. Any other further questions or discussion on this particular item? Roll call, please.
Trustee Neto.
Aye.
Trustee Romas.
Aye.
Trustee Stevens.
Aye.
Trustee Andrews.
Aye.
Trustee Eckert.
Aye.
Trustee McKeefery.
Aye.
President Van Rossum.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, 7-0.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item 9B this evening is the sign the conveyance of rights and statement of non-reimbursement from Core Engineering. Back to Director Smits.
All right, Core Engineering has sent over a few documents for the village to sign in relationship to the Lineville Road reconstruction project. The 2 documents are the conveyance of rights and statement of non-reimbursement. We have utilities located throughout Lineville Road within the Brown County right-of-way, and many of our utilities needed to be adjusted through the last few years that we expanded to the new roadway. As part of the right-of-way, acquisition process, that's what kind of kicked in some of these extra steps that we have here tonight. The COR is used by Wisconsin County or local government to legally acquire limited rights in private land for a public project, such as a road project. And it triggers real estate transfer tax forms or fees, and because of its non-fee interest under the cited statutes. So that would be the reason for the Corps. And I should back up, Corps Engineering was the consultant that handled all the land acquisition for the county through the Lineville Road project. That's why Corps is administering these documents. The SNR simply memorializes the fact that the utility is not requesting compensation. So we are not, our utility, our water and sewer and storm are not requesting reimbursement or compensation from the county or anybody related to the project. So that's what the SNR stands for, is we're not expecting to be paid back for any of the adjustments that we had to make the roadway fit in its current location.
What if we did?
Will we be charging ourselves?
Yeah, we'd be paying
Because the
for
county
it
that
Okay.
bills us for the project
on the
costs.
back.
Okay.
With a mark.
Probably 10%.
Admin fee, yeah.
Can any of this hurt the utility going forward?
No, nope,
Okay.
nothing. So we paid for all the adjustments that needed to be made with our utility, whether it was water or sewer over the last few years. So everything's been taken care of and planned for, and we're not expecting any compensation. And this will
Pretty
not hurt.
safe thing to sign.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
I believe it's more of a formality item than anything.
We did have legal look at it. I haven't seen something like this before. So we
Okay.
had our legal review it and they sign off on it.
Nothing ever seems like a formality, really.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Until legal gets involved, then it becomes,
Hmm.
all right.
So I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the signing of the COR and SNR for Corps Engineering.
Trustee Romas has offered a motion to approve the signing of the COR and the SNR from Corps Engineering. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee McKeefery on this item. Last chance for questions or discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call, please.
Trustee Romas.
Aye.
Trustee
Need a
Stevens.
roll call.
Trustee Andrews.
Aye.
Trustee Eckert.
Aye.
Trustee McKeefery.
Aye.
Trustee Neto.
Aye.
President Van Rossum.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Thank you.
All right. Item C this evening, 9C, is the purchase of an Elgin Pelican street sweeper from McQueen Group Sales and Service. Director Smits.
All right, thank you. The village has budgeted in 2025 the purchase of a street sweeper. We are looking at an Elgin Pelican over-the-air vacuum style sweeper. This is a mechanical style sweeper made by Elgin. We are looking for the best overall performance and longevity. And the mechanical versus the air or the vacuum style has a lot less moving parts and a lot less maintenance that goes in the long term of owning one of these machines. We believe that having mechanical style would best fit what we're looking for here. You know, the air style definitely picks up smaller, finer debris. You know, it'll suck up the dirt out of your cracks in the road and in the curb line and stuff like that. Mechanical won't quite have that same effect, but there's a significant cost to owning an air machine over time. Those components, the fan, the flywheel, all that stuff does wear out and can be costly to replace. The mechanical style sweepers are seen all over, you know, our area in the Northeast. They're really good at picking up your larger debris, your leaves, you know, any material that you typically find in your road. It just doesn't have that vacuum style component to it. So, you know, we'd be looking at using or going with the mechanical option just for longevity and maintenance, you know, and keeping our cost, you know, as affordable as we can by owning our own sweeper. The funding source of this purchase would be from the Stormwater Fund, utilizing cash from the Monsanto settlement that was received in 2023, which is to be used for stormwater and pollution prevention. I'd be happy to answer any questions about either of the
How
two
much is in the settlement?
I think it was
It was around 332,000. I recall correctly.
332, I think is.
And how much is this?
So we'd be looking at
Oh,
a
okay.
price of not to exceed 305. So the air style or the vacuum style are about an extra 100,000 to buy one. So you'd be more around that 405 for that machine. The Elgin or the Pelican is a little more affordable. We'd be able to stay under what we received for the Monsanto payment that we were issued. And then be able to have our ability to sweep our streets as needed and, you know, no less than twice a year.
Can I drive it?
Absolutely,
Really?
sure.
So today, we have a service that does this, right?
Correct, yep.
What's happening with the service?
So the service is very slow and delayed on getting here, and they're not that they don't do a decent job, it's just timing. Typically you want to get after your streets as soon as your spring thaw is done and you have all your debris and your sand that's left over either from us sanding our streets from the winter, or just spring runoff. If you wait too long and you wait through too many rainfalls, well, it just washes all that stuff off the road anyway, and then you don't get to pick it up. So timing is kind of the big thing. And the services, they keep going up every year because there's a very limited amount of private companies that do street sweeping. Most municipalities have their own now, so that kind of eliminated the market for it. And the ones that are left are very busy because they do all the parking lots and shopping malls and stuff like that, and they're hard to get out here.
And we will staff this with the current staff we have today?
Correct.
And with us replacing the man-hours for the contracted service, will we have to pay overtime or?
No, we would just fit it into our normal
Okay.
schedule and, yep, do it during my normal business day.
And just one last mechanical thing. So does this pull something behind it to fill the debris, or is it?
Nope.
It sits all in the?
There's a hopper on the front of it. If you scroll down or up, one under there.
What's called a Pelican.
Yeah.
Let's see. That makes sense.
So it has a front hopper on it.
Okay, there it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Okay, yeah.
So the air style would definitely have been my preference, just because it does do a slightly better job, and you can use it more as like a vac truck too. You can actually suck out of like manholes and inlets and stuff and clean those. But again, the extra initial cost and the ongoing maintenance of the air machines it's too much.
So a question I have for you in this, how many hours, what would you believe to be the number of hours that this unit will be in service on a yearly basis?
I would say probably 120 to 160 hours a year.
120 to 160?
I would say at least 2 weeks in the spring, 2 weeks in the fall,
Sure.
and probably more hours in between.
And hours?
I would say more, and it's all based on how many, storms you get in a year that produce enough rainfall that makes a mess on your roads, what's happening in the village as far as development, and who's hauling in fill, dirt, debris to certain sites. Just last week, we had a whole bunch of debris over on East Deerfield Avenue. Somebody was hauling in fill to one of the properties along East Deerfield. They made a complete mess all down East Deerfield with what they were dragging back out. We were able to make them come out and sweep it, but if they don't do it in a timely manner, we can go out there and sweep and charge them back for our time.
Yeah, I mean, not throwing an action item your way by any means, but something to investigate with this. If we look at the number of hours that we have this in active service, and even with the potential of having to clean up after somebody else's mess, I'm just wondering if there aren't opportunities with adjacent communities that we could potentially, do some street sweeping for Pulaski, Little Suamico, who
Right.
knows? So just something to think about.
Most communities to the south kind of have their own, everybody's
Yeah,
kind of got their own
yeah.
plan and equipment, and they
Yeah.
take care of it. But yeah, I'd say the smaller communities that don't have them, and in a lot of smaller communities actually do have their own, same style as these
Okay.
already. But there might be some opportunity out there.
I mean, we do have other areas that we can use this
Yep.
in. We've got, the historic downtown Suamico with its parking lots,
Yep.
et cetera, yeah.
And not to interject, but we have called street sweepers in the past for the fire department on large accidents for cleanup as well. So it's another tool that we could utilize as well.
Okay.
So.
And do you pay for that?
So we would charge back. We always charge for the accidents, whoever's at fault, so we would get reimbursed for that as well. So.
Okay. So on this, we look for potential for
I
motion.
have some questions. Yeah.
Mike
Please.
has questions.
Oh, I do, because, I'm not a fan of the street sweeper because it's a big number. $305,000 is a
Yep.
lot of money. And I remember in an earlier meeting, I think the number that we spent per year was 20,000 for
Yeah.
for both
Yep.
times so we wait a little while, but we only spend 20,000. And if that jumps to 30,000 over the next 10 years, then I'm still looking at a 10-year ROI straight up, right? Without looking at operational costs and replacement and maintenance. Like those brushes, for instance, on the bottom, they're obviously not made of titanium. So I'm imagining there's some wear rate. And I'm curious, do you know what that wear rate is? If you go 160 hours, are you replacing those brushes twice a year, once every 2 years? And what's the cost to replace them?
It's about $1,200 for the rear broom, and I believe they told me about every other year you should expect to replace it.
Okay, so we're looking at that. We're looking at the fuel as a diesel.
There's option, I haven't got that far into it,
Okay.
if I want to do regular fuel, diesel, or there is a natural gas option.
So we have the major components, we have the large amount of money that we're going to talk about investing. We know that the hours are between 120, 160. So how many total hours would you say the reasonable life expectancy of one of these is?
They go for a ton of hours. I mean, I think like 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours?
Yeah, because I've looked at used ones that started off at 5, 6, 7,000 hours.
I was going to ask you that question.
So you can definitely go down the used market. It's just then you don't know what you're getting, and you're potentially buying somebody else's junk.
You could be. Is there a possibility of refurbished, like from the manufacturer, sort of like with the fire trucks and things like that?
You can, and the same company does do that. So actually, when we were looking at our vac truck for next year, we are planning to buy a used vac truck because a brand new one is about 650, 700 plus. So, we're hoping to target a number for a good used one through the same company. They do take them in on trade, and they go through, let's say, a 120-point inspection, and they replace or fix any components that are, they deem bad. But it just seems like the used, you're still paying a lot for a 8, 9, 10-year-old unit already.
Yeah.
That already has, 5,000 hours on it.
Okay, so you had mentioned a vac truck. What's the role of the vac truck?
So the vac truck is used to jet and clean sewers,
Okay.
sanitary sewers.
And you had mentioned that the air version of this could do that.
Nope,
to
not,
some
that would
level.
not be able
Okay.
to
Not to
do
the
anything
same
with
degree.
sewers, correct.
Okay, not to the same degree. Which roads would be swept?
So we have
On
about
the
35 miles of curbed roads that we would sweep,
Curbed.
at a minimum twice a year. But you could also hit your rural you wouldn't street sweep your rural road, but you could street sweep your rural intersections. So I'm sure you noticed we have a lot of gravel on a lot of our intersections all the time. Currently, we go around with our leaf blowers and backpack blowers and just simply blow them off because they do become hazardous. But you could use this machine and go around.
But that system works. the
Correct.
blower. So
Yep.
in a situation like you were saying where there was a recent event where there was a lot of debris, you as a team in the village went to it. You ended up getting that person, I think, to clean it up because you happen to know who it was. But if
Right.
you didn't know who it was, you would probably go out there as a team of people and just take care of it. Right? What about rentals? Are we able to rent this type?
I have not found a place I could rent one from.
Okay. And then to something like President Van Rossum was talking about is what you were talking about is us using it potentially as an opportunity for a shared service to another community. Have we looked into, and what was the result of us talking to communities that already have one, that we could use as a shared service from them?
So the only one that we could use a shared service with would have been Howard, but they had very limited timing on when we could use it, so off time when they're not. And they run a pretty robust street sweeping schedule, so they were using it for like all of June, all of July, and we would have got it in August.
Okay. So Howard, Hobart, do they have?
I don't know that Hobart owns one. I'm not sure. I did not touch base with
Pulaski?
them. I'm not sure about
Not sure
Pulaski.
about that either. All right.
I would think they have their own unit,
Yeah.
because they are pretty much full curbed community.
The reason I'm asking that question more in depth is that I remember when the shared revenue thing was coming out and the state was increasing the number for the municipalities. There was a discussion about grants that would be available. I don't know if that ended up being real or not. The grants that would become available to communities that would work together and purchase a piece of equipment like this. I think you would still have the common problem of when you need it, right? So it'd have to be like, 160 hours. So that's,
4 weeks,
yeah, that's 4 weeks. So 2 weeks per time? Or is it-
roughly, yeah. That's what I
All
figured.
right. So it'd have to almost be an agreement to the communities that they would rotate through it. I believe that the $305,000 price tag is just too hard for me to swallow for this without, I guess, a more deep look into those other possibilities. It's a lot of money. So the next question is, the last thing is for Monsanto. that settlement, is there a deadline on when we have to use that money?
I don't think
No.
so.
Okay. So this is something we could talk in more depth at the budget hearing on Thursday, 3 days from now, potentially?
If I have more information by then.
Yeah, okay.
Or we can make a motion.
We could,
We could make a motion.
yeah, absolutely.
So would there, we've talked about, sharing this equipment with other communities. What happens if we offered additional services to the community? And there would be a fee associated, as in leaf pickup. Will this machine pick up leaves?
It does pick up leaves, but it doesn't have the largest storage unit on it.
Yeah, okay.
Same with even any air vacuum style, you only have so much room in the dump body. So obviously you guys have seen leaf suction equipment. They're pretty much like a garbage truck, like they have that much capacity, right? So this will pick up leaves, but it's definitely not intended to be your leaf pickup option. Most leaf pickups have a grinder in it, so it compacts them real good and you fit.
Good idea, though.
Trustee Anders?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of an Elgin Pelican street sweeper from McQueen Group Sales and Service for a price not to exceed $305,000 using funds from stormwater.
Could we add a note? What was the fund, specifically the settlement fund?
So it was to use money out of the stormwater account, but being funded by the Monsanto payment that we received. And I believe that total was around $332,000.
So that motion would include the settlement funds?
That's what I would just,
It's technically all coming from the stormwater fund.
Okay,
It just
The
happens that
Monsanto money got
payment-
put into the stormwater fund, so we're now
Okay.
using the money out of the stormwater fund that was designated from that settlement.
I just wanted that, I
Yeah.
wanted that noted, yeah. Just so that folks knew that there was a settlement that this came from, and it wasn't just the overall stormwater.
Before we move forward, if we didn't use the $332,000, what would we use it for?
Well, that was kind of our conversation is what's the best use of this one-time funding? You don't want to use that for your operational,
Right.
right? So we're looking for what's the best impact of this one-time money.
It was designed for pollution prevention, I think is kind of how it
Correct.
comes down to.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, you said the life expectancy on this piece of equipment?
I would put it in our equipment replacement reserve
I
at
think you said
least
10.
a 20-year. I'd think it's
20 years?
18 to 20-year life on this unit.
18 to
Especially
20.
at, if we keep our hours
Okay.
to
Yeah.
200 hours a year or something,
Okay.
it should last us a long time.
Okay.
and if it stays in Suamico too, it
Yeah.
can be on your schedule.
Yep.
So there was a motion made to approve the purchase of the Elgin Street Sweeper for not to exceed $305,000 using funds from the stormwater account funded via the Monsanto settlement. I would be looking for a second.
Second.
I have a second from trustee Eckert, thank you. Any other further questions or discussion? Let's do a roll call then, please.
Trustee Stevens.
Aye.
Trustee Andrews.
Aye.
Trustee Eckert.
Aye.
Trustee McKeefery.
Aye.
Trustee Neto.
Aye.
Trustee Romas.
Nay.
President Van Rossum.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay. Item number 10, discussion on future agenda items. Anyone have future agenda items they would like to discuss in the future as an agenda item? Going once. All right,
Motion to adjourn?
thank you. I have a motion from trustee Romas to adjourn this evening's meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from trustee Andrews. All right, all those in favor of adjourning this evening's meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. We are adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you all for sticking around.